happened in the 90s.
Head of the Class, weeknights now at 6 on Fox 19.
Yeah, I saved you a fucking shitty fucking career, and it wasn't even me, Steve. I'm not like that was the level of shit in that school. There were
I mean,
legit like there was high level bullying going on in that school, and even to the teachers. Personally, me in junior high, the year after I had two teachers in like seventh and eighth grade, they retired, and one I know for a fact that it was probably like I was the last straw. But
at Perrysburg,
yeah, I had a teacher in that was he was a guy. I don't even remember his name, but old
crazy.
um and I remember him telling me at the end of the year that he was never so happy to see a student go on to the next grade than me. And I was like, "Oh, that's nice." And he's like, "Well, it's because you've made my life a nightmare this whole year. So I cannot wait to for next year." So that wasn't great. Miss Wolliver, my English teacher, told my parents he's never going to be anything. He's not going to amount to anything.
Miss Wolliver had a fat pussy. She had a wolf pussy. Did she wear mom jeans?
You know, all I remember about her is, being bad. And I remember she had like that, it was just like a 90s look. It was like white chick, like curly, they get it curled, and it's just like a triangle type thing. It was very severe.
Like she might sell Avon. She might teach.
Yeah, definitely that. Like she looks like she's gonna sell you some Tupperware or some shit, But
With a
I
fat
fully
pussy.
admit, like I'll say that, and honestly, I don't like a teacher that says
With
your
a fat
kid's not
pussy.
gonna amount to shit. But I was a piece of
So I
shit.
have fat pussy.
You know what's really fucked up though? I think she got caught.
What?
I'm not even gonna say anything because I don't want to fucking like.
No, say it. Fuck that bitch with a
I
fat
think.
pussy.
Well, speaking on her having a fat pussy, I think she got caught in a affair with another teacher in that school. Steve,
Yes,
fat
with the
pussy
wolf pussy.
status, dude.
Miss Wolliver with the wolf pussy. Wolfifer.
She's pulling the wool
Wolfifer.
over your eyes, Steve. You thought she had that fat puss, but she was just
Those are
gushing all over a history teacher, dude.
fucking beef curtains flapping over my
Oh
eyes.
yeah.
Foo, foo, foo.
Have you ever seen that meme where it's just like they'll something will fly across the room and then it'll just be like roast beef on like a guitar string?
And it just says Wolliver, 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 Wolliver.
Fucking puss looks like an Arby's roast beef sandwich. One of those 5 for 5s, one of those nasty ones.
Yeah, just like the way I like it. We were already
I
starting
think
off
Steve
very
has a
eerie.
fucking. I think you have a thing for this bitch, Steve. I think you want to go back to P-Burg and fucking put your pee in some Wolliver V's, Steve.
I wouldn't mind, fuck her. Fuck her.
Literally. Fuck her.
Wolliver. She sound that's the name of a woman with a fat pussy. Wolliver.
I don't get it though, but yeah, I guess.
I don't get it. That's just like we don't make them calls, Matt. Just some things you just let.
You're right. I guess I'm not even. This is a fucking. Uh, this is just like doing improv. God, I'm fucking dumb, Steve. Just yes and I don't get it. But I mean, go for it. Go for that. Whatever you're thinking is there. I'm thinking it's probably going to look more like a dick. But
Anything goes at this point. We already started off weird as fuck. Weird and wild indeed.
yeah, it's going to be tough to transition from this to Bobby's world. But go for it, bro.
Hey, it's all about weird and wild and wolf pussies.
Her pussy sounds like the Nittany Lion roar, Steve.
Yeah, if she's still alive.
If you sometimes feel like an underdog in business, here's a whole new way to compete. Make one phone call to Sprint and a telecommunications specialist will custom design a small business package just for you. It'll have all the cutting-edge technology that only big business used to be able to afford.
10,000 by the 30th. We're in business.
So you can get to be one of those big, rich companies that everybody resents.
So, hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your go-gurts and your bananas and pajamas. And do you really might know what it's like? And do you really might know what it's like? And do you really might know what it's like to have to lose? And do you really? That's my shit.
Band? What band was that?
That's that Everlast. You know, he left out,
Everlast, dude.
yeah, and he resurfaced as Everlast, and he still did numbers. Bankhead bounced for that man, Everlast.
The motherfucker, I remember he was on some show and he had like a heart attack, but he had like a machine put into his heart, like a pacemaker, and you can hear that. He put a mic up to it and he's like, you can hear this shit working. It's fucking crazy. He survived, Steve. And he's still
With us.
performing. I didn't see,
He's a
my
bad
thing was with Everlast, he had that album and with that song on it, and for whatever reason, that shit caught fire. It was kind of a slow, like,
dope song.
but I didn't really. I was more for Everlast pre that, more of a hip hop flavor. This was more of like a blues shit. You know what I mean? And I mean, I think it even says that in the, what is it called? Whitey Ford Sings the Blues.
Yeah,
So yeah,
but
you liked it. I
you
agree to
grow
disagree, Steve. I don't hate Everlast. The motherfucker's of G, but you know,
as an
I'm
as an
not
artist. You
banging it.
grow, man.
That's like some sad, like you're just sitting around like wanting to cry music. I feel like, especially that song.
And sometimes I want to cry. Okay, sometimes
Okay,
I want to play some White the blues, and I just want to sit in a corner next to a window where there's rain pouring down and just look at the fucking gray clouds. Sometimes I
just
just want to, and
okay.
just and
Are you okay, Steve?
sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I want to listen to Everlast.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm with you, Steve. When I want to cry, I put on the end of the movie Phenomenon after John Travolta dies, and I just cry my eyes out. I don't understand why, but I'm here for you, and hopefully you're not listening to a lot of that now. I get it though. You got to have one ready to go, like when Michael Scott breaks up with that chick, and he's just listening to "Goodbye, my lover." Goodbye, my friend. So I get it, but did I like it? I'm gonna go ahead and say no, Steve. That's a hard no for me. I bought it, the CD, I played it, I tried to like it, and that's a no for me, dog.
The man who doesn't go to museums. You need culture. All it comes back to that. All of it comes back to that, Matt. You
You're
need to
saying Whitey
mature.
Ford sings the blues is the culture I need right now?
The
That's like going to
culture
a
you need.
bowling alley, Steve. What are you talking about?
Best bowling alley, not the rinky dink one that's around the corner. You kind of got to go into Midtown, you know, and pay for parking on weekends.
Okay. All right. Well, divisive start to happen in the 90s, Steve. But I get it. We all got to cry. Steve, let it out. If you need to let it out for our listeners, I mean, just let it out. But I feel like you're coming in a little hot. You're coming in weird. You're coming in horny for sure. So I'm excited.
With pussies, me getting a horny gets you excited, and I'm the one weird.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about all September 8th in the 90s. Starting off in 1990, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes premieres on Fox Kids. Remember that shit?
Hell yeah. Did you ever watch the original movie?
Hell no.
Do you know who's in that? That's a '90s legend. That's a icon of movies now.
Uh, Goldblum.
Clooney, close. Could have probably played. Probably went up for the same part because this was like Clooney with the mullet. Almost looking like Uncle Jesse Clooney. But I love this
With the mullet.
cartoon, and it had a great theme song. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. And then on and on. But it was a good theme song too. I like this.
George Clooney was in Facts of Life. He played the Butch one's boyfriend for like the later seasons.
I mean, he was
I
always
think.
like the heartthrob dude, but that's what he played in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. He was just like the handsome hero dude. He was just like a civilian that just
Okay.
was there to like have wind blow through his locks, basically.
You know who the star was? He the star of the movie?
No, it's kind of like an ensemble thing, but he was one of the big parts in it. And I don't remember who else
Mm.
was. There was probably a couple other like semi-famous people in it, but he was like right at the beginning of his acting career, getting work and shit. So it was pretty funny. It's wacky. It's a fucking movie about tomatoes eating people with teeth and shit. It's just as weird looking at it in a cartoon, but it was live action. So, it's kind of almost like Little Shop of Horrors vibe-ish, without the music.
B movie quality,
Oh yeah, definitely.
late night for sure. And by the way, man, we're talking about a lot of debuts on Saturday morning. A lot of premieres for cartoons, man. Uh, so that was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but also in 1990, Bobby's World premiered on Fox Kids, and they're airing their pilot, The Visit to Aunt Ruth's. Bobby does not want to stay at Aunt Ruth's house. He thinks he'll be bored and she smells. However, Bobby finds that being with his Aunt Ruth is actually fun. And this was one of the shows I watched along with Power Rangers before going to school in the mornings, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. When it came out, my dad and I, for whatever reason, like this was one of the first shows I remember having, like where he would just like, oh, Bobby's World's on, and he would watch it with me. I don't know whether he actually liked it or not, but um, I watched this heavily when it was on Saturday mornings, and like before it came on or before we went to school and stuff. But this is a Howie Mandel with coming straight off of putting a glove on his head and blowing it up. He's a stand-up guy. He does stand up at the beginning of this. Almost, he's in a half animated, half himself. Um, and this
Yeah,
was a Howie Mandel joint. I think Bobby was a character he did on stage. Um,
with the different voice. Yeah,
yeah, and I don't know, man. This was just one of those great, like, imaginative. It's a kid with a huge imagination. Learning lessons. It was funny. Um, it was cool. It was just like a fun show to watch. They got like near the end, man, there were some like rough lessons because I remember he was like friends with his bus driver and then the bus driver died. So there was an episode about him dealing with death. So they
wow.
went heavy, they tried to teach you some lessons, but I love it. I don't like Howie Mandel just hanging out in my bedroom. This is terrifying for me as a child, but he's here. And that's what I like about the beginning of this. Like they're goofy. They have this intro where he's sort of, I think he's doing a bit that was probably something he was talking about, and then he's like, "Oh wait," and he's actually the dad in the show, and he like snaps himself into being animated, which I just thought was kind of cool.
And something I'm just now learning, man. This whole time I thought John Candy was Uncle Ted, and he's
Dude,
so not Ted.
that's crazy you said that because I realized that a while ago because my dad and I always thought that when we watched the show, and up until I was like 30, I thought it was the case, and we looked it up. I was like, "Holy fucking shit! It is not fucking John Candy."
Like this whole time, like was that intentional? Do you really talk like that? Because
I mean, it had to be
we're not.
fashioned. Like they had to be like, this guy's modeled after John Candy. If it wasn't just completely on purpose, you know,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
crazy. That's hilarious. I thought me and my dad were just stupid as fuck, and we're like, "Oh yeah, it's fucking John Candy." Nope. Everybody thought that apparently.
Yeah, his real name, the actual guy, is Tino Insana. He's no longer with us. He passed away in 2017, May 31st, 2017.
Yeah, Tito Insana. That's the actual guy's name, man. And like you said, we're starting off this episode. Howie Mandel, he's in Bobby's bedroom, doing one of his bits, and he ends up turning himself into a cartoon version, an animated version of himself. And Bobby finds out that they're going to Aunt Ruth's place for her birthday, and Bobby's dreading this.
It's not fun. I didn't have any relatives like this that I was like terrified to go to, but he's a little baby kid. I mean, what is he, like 4 or 5, whatever he is, and yeah, he's not happy that he's going to Aunt Ruth, and then his dad's like, chill out, go to sleep, and he goes to sleep, and he has this dream where Aunt Ruth is like a Godzilla figure, trotting through
Yeah.
town. Pinching the cheeks of the citizens until their faces turn to mush. So clearly, he's not looking forward to the trip, Steve.
She's bigger than Sears Tower, and she smells like running makeup over heat flashes. And like Bobby's having nightmares about Aunt Ruth. And when he wakes up, he ends up having an actual Toy Story before Toy Story moment when his toys come to life and start having conversations with them and whatnot.
Yeah, his bear was going to move. He even told his dad about this. He's like, when you turn the lights off, this bear's moving. And his dad's like, you're crazy. You're a little kid. Shut up. Go to bed. And then he turns the lights off and the bear is moving. And what's even more, I guess not terrifying, the bear is moving in that it's moving. But he's also moving in that he's taking off, Steve. He's packing up.
It got drafted to be in the service or some shit, right?
He's going into the military, Steve, and he wants to do some good, and he's even got the army guys helping him pack up. So that's crazy. I don't know if Bobby's having just straight up acid. Maybe his parents did a lot of acid back in the 70s. I don't know, but
or they bought him a really good bear.
Yeah, oh yeah, that new back in the 90s. But the bear even says he's going to be a radar technician, Steve. So he's off to bigger and better things. Serving the military proudly. I know. I mean, Pauly Shore joined the army, so I think this bear's got a good shot.
Suck on this one time.
Side. And like Bobby, he gets back to reality. And the next morning, the family's having breakfast. He's eating his Captain Squash cereal and picking his nose. His sister tells him not to. So what does Bobby do? He daydreams about picking his nose, and he's picking different noses. One of them is like a machete, or not a machete, but a machine gun kind of nose that just rat-a-tat-tats at a motherfucker. And then there's another nose that's a Pinocchio nose. And he's lying, saying that like he has permission to pick his nose, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger until his mom wakes him up out of the daydream.
Yeah. And this was the chance to meet all of the family too. We've already met the dad. Also, their name is generic, which I thought their last name is actually generic, but it's called generic. So I thought that was funny.
Generic.
Yes. Don't get it wrong, Steve. Don't. But his mom is like somebody out of the movie Fargo. She's constantly like, don't you know? She has one of those accents. Oh, yeah. Oh, Bobby. Your dad's busting nuts inside of me. That's Irish. That's not what she sounds like, people, but
don't eat with your fingers. Yeah. Mine was worse.
I forget I got the names written down here somewhere. His sister's name is Kelly. Kelly has, these are early 90s like tropes. So Kelly's like a punk rock chick. She's got crazy hair. But she's like
girl.
this. She's a fucking ditz, but and his brother's like an X Games wannabe. I think, what is his brother's name? Derek, I think.
Derek, yeah.
They're there just to be like,
he's got a flat top.
Yeah. And he rat tail
with
too.
A rat tail.
Yeah, rat tail, dude. That's dude, what was going on in the 90s, bro? That was a real thing.
He's rocking that Danny Cooksey.
Yeah, dude. That's a straight fuck. Is he gonna be a fucking manager at a strip club at some point in his life? Because that's really all you gotta go to. But they're all going to Aunt Ruth's. Nobody wants to go to this woman's house except the dad. Everyone else is like, can we fucking God? But they get in the car, and this is where, you know, the dad's this. I've had this happen to me many times because even just myself in a car, my dad would be like, stop this fucking car. I've had those moments, Steve. So this whole trip is that.
Everybody shut the fuck up. I'm going to drive off this bridge.
I will fucking go into oncoming traffic, you little fucks. Because Bobby won't stop. He's nice, but his brother's an asshole. Kelly's fucking like nudging people. Everybody's in the back seat. Mom's trying to keep the peace. They're on the road. Bobby goes into another delirium. This time, what does he do?
They're in prehistoric times.
Yeah,
and he's daydreaming about pterodactyls flying around in airplanes.
Yeah, and exactly. He's a caveman. He actually dreams that he came up with the TV dinner as a caveman at some point.
They make him chief.
Yeah. Then he rules the world. Back in real life, Derek is like, check this out. And I did this. I used to do this probably because of the show. And he starts putting his hand out the window and slapping the side of the car, making his dad think he had a flat tire, which is his dad goes into another rage about. And then they start passing cool shit. It's like, we're going to Aunt Ruth's, but 60 flags is literally 50 miles away. Let's go. Let's go.
And then Waterworld is 200 miles.
Yeah. That's past fucking Aunt Ruth's, but fuck it. Let's go there. And his dad's like, we're going to Aunt Ruth's. Shut the fuck up. And then,
but Howard gets pulled over by the police.
Forgot about that. Yeah. And I mean, he might get pulled over for abusing his children if he doesn't stop. But
Joe Jackson.
Yeah. But the cop like starts talking to him, and then Bobby has another fucking, this kid needs to pull out of it. You know, this kid's daydreaming all the time. Now he's daydreaming. The cop's like, hey man, you got, because I think his dad says something like, I am a taxpayer. He does like the white guy thing. And the cop's like, oh yeah, you know what? We need a good taxpayer. I need your help right now. And they get in like a helicopter. I think they go after a criminal, Steve, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, Bobby thinks he's John fucking McClane now.
That's it.
And he's on the top of a roof and he's hopping off of exploding buildings. And I don't know if he ever named or had a name for his little strap along spider friend.
Webley.
But he's like using Webley. Okay. Yeah. So he's using it like some fucking rope or some shit.
He does the Die Hard thing. He exploding buildings into a window. He has a gun. I think it's like a fucking harpoon gun, but it's a gun, Steve.
Hey, Bobby stays strapped in his imagination.
I mean, he's got one on the nose. He's got fucking the nose gun, if you don't remember that. Now he's strapped up with a harpoon gun, for fuck's sake. This kid's fucking coming in hot, Steve.
Stay ready, so you never have to get ready.
So
and they finally get, oh, no, before that, though, actually, the cop says, you're going to Aunt Ruth's. That's punishment enough. So he just gives them a warning. Everybody knows Aunt Ruth's place sucks. Bobby knows it. The cop knows it. Everyone knows it. And Aunt Ruth, we finally get to see her. She gives Bobby a big hug. And then we're introduced to Uncle Ted, who's going to go roughhousing. Bobby has another daydream. Him and Uncle Ted are in the roughhousing Olympics. And this is a recurring theme of this show, man. He always imagines him and his Uncle Ted in these like fantasy like situations to where they conquer the world, because that's his favorite uncle. It's Uncle Ted.
His boy,
that's his favorite
dude.
nephew. Yeah, man. And you know, he might be one of the goats of uncles, man. He might be one beat behind Uncle Phil. Can't top Uncle Phil. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle Phil also bred it up and responsible. Uncle Ted, I feel like, is just a guy who might place a couple of bets, you know? I don't know what job he's got, but he's a mensch, Steve. He's a badass. I always thought, because I was a fan of the cartoon or the comic in the papers, Calvin and Hobbes. I always thought this show was kind of like the closest we would get to a Calvin and Hobbes cartoon, because it's a kid just with the ultimate imagination, constantly just making it something cooler than what it was. And that's what this show is. It's like if he's going out to get some pizza, him and his uncle are like wading through World War II shit. You know, it's like crazy shit like that. And I think that's why I loved it so much when I was a kid.
Never thought about it like that, man. But as he's daydreaming about this roughhousing, Uncle Ted ends up breaking a lamp.
This motherfucker's clumsy, Steve. And he says he can fix it. He's like, I got it. He calls for some super glue. And I think I figured out where Bobby's getting this imagination from, Steve, because as soon as somebody mentions super glue, Bobby's like, yeah, super glue. So I think he's doing a little Charlie Kelly fucking huffing action, Steve. This kid's fucking out of his mind right now.
Hey, Bobo, you want some of this Elmer's glue?
No, I want the good stuff.
Elmer's, Bobo.
I got the rubber cement in the fridge, Bobby. Yeah, so they brought some shit. But Aunt Ruth she's cool, Steve. She's not the monster that we thought. She's like, you know what?
Big titties. She's got her house coat on.
Yeah.
Probably got a wolf pussy. It's all good.
She definitely has a wolf puss. She's got them compression socks, Steve. All that blood's going right up to that puss.
Straight from the kinks.
Oh, God. Steve, I don't
Do they call it taint? Do
What?
women call it taint, or is it called something else?
I don't even know that taint is even used anymore. That's what I would call it, but there's actually like a scientific term before that area. I hope you know that. It's like perneal or some shit, dude. What would you call it other than taint, though? Perneal or some shit. I don't know what it is. There is a medical term for the taint. I call it a gooch. That's what I call it.
Like a perneal.
Look it up. I don't know.
Per
what
my
it is.
last email. Per my
I'm
last
looking it
taint.
up. I'm looking this up, Steve. Steve is tickled. Steve is tickled. What is the science? How do you?
I think it's called perneal.
What is the scientific term for taint, Steve? And it's Perineum. So however you pronounce that, perennium.
Perineum. Okay, you said some perneal. That's just still funny to me. Shit, I don't care.
Well, we'll call it that. I'm putting my fucking flag in the sand right there. That's what I'm calling my taint from now on. The perneal.
Perneal.
Put a little
Per
pressure.
my
on
last report.
Perneal.
Per my last email. Jesus.
So Aunt Ruth's fucking out there getting her pussy sucked. Steve's out there trying to get in touch. Uncle Ted's breaking shit like he's in a fucking Limp Bizkit video. And Bobby's can't stop huffing rubber cement, Steve. I think we're good.
They told him he can't get cookies because he hadn't eaten yet. So he tried to sneak up the kitchen counter with a stocking on his face. His mom thought it was cute, so they took pictures. And then before they leave, Aunt Ruth gives them chocolate chip cookies. And Aunt Ruth's pretty cool. Like I said, she's got big titties, probably wolf pussy, and she got some chocolate chip cookies to give to her.
Hell yeah. And she don't give a fuck if you fuck up her house a little bit. She's into the party. And honestly, I think what it is, remember, I don't know if you had this. Sometimes you'd go to a friend's house or a relative, and you might have cable, Steve, and maybe they don't. It's one of those things where it's like, man, I don't want to go to so-and-so's house, man. It smells. I had a relative whose house smelled that I didn't like going to.
Which relative?
I'm not saying it out loud, Steve.
Do you ever see them again? You plan on seeing them again?
All right. It was one of my cousins.
Funky butt loving.
It was just I'll throw an old friend under the bus too, because I don't know this guy anymore. Anywho, we had a kid named Andy B. His last name rhymed with Fun Guard. I don't know if you remember that kid.
You know what you're talking about, man. Fuck dude. Fuck that.
his house stunk, and he was my buddy, and I would stay the night at his house, and we'd get like food and shit. But if we had to eat food, I wouldn't eat it because his house stunk so bad, Steve. I was like, it was gross. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I think that's what Bobby was afraid of. It's different. He's a little kid. You've never seen the shit show. You got to see a couple of compression stockings and a fucked up house every once in a while. And he made the most of it. And his Uncle Ted's there, which I think you'd think he'd know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he seems to know Uncle Ted. They're either they just are fast friends or they're just are old friends because they just get right into it. So I'd be excited if I knew Uncle Ted was there.
Uncle Ted, he was a maybe. You know, he was always an X factor. Maybe he'll pull up, maybe not.
But my thing is, like, eventually he's just part of the squad because this show keeps going and he's always around. So maybe he moves move in with them. I don't know. But Uncle Ted, you ain't Uncle Phil, but maybe you get a good job and you're right up there, Steve. Steve, he's right there.
Yeah. And once again, another cartoon in 1990 on September 8th, Peter Pan and the Pirates premiered on Fox Kids. And I remember it when it came out, along with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Bobby's World. And I appreciate the animation. This is one of those, I feel, a lost art in animation. This was used in the late 70s, in the 80s, and I feel like this is the last era of using this style of animation.
The show always
has a Ralph Bakshi feel to it.
Yeah. Remember the show Gummy Bears?
Yeah, totally. Exactly.
I feel like it was the same maybe company probably, but yeah, that's what I remember about this. I was like you. It was there. I remember it being there, and I probably watched a couple of episodes of it, but I don't know. Peter Pan was just never my thing.
Ever.
You know?
Like, the only pirates I fuck with was Sean Fanning.
Yeah, and I'll fuck with Hook with Robin Williams and fucking Rufio and shit. I'll fuck with that just a bit. But I don't know. People we grew up in a time where just if it wasn't that Julie Andrews like black and white play TV movie one that they did that was the one that I saw in like school and shit, or the Disney one, or Hook. They just Peter Pan, for some reason, people want you to like that no matter what generation it is. And I just, for whatever reason, I'm not into it, Steve. I don't like man boys, you know? Count me out.
Hated it.
So Zazu You, I've never heard of that one. Don't remember it, but that debuted on Fox Kids as well. And Zazu You is a children's, I feel like it was more catered towards the younger children.
Yeah, this sounds like a Gullah Gullah Island type situation, or like a Pinwheel. Remember that shit?
Yeah, this aired on Fox Children's Network block on Saturday mornings, and it followed the antics of a university of college populated by different animals.
Oh, okay. So collegiate hijinks with animal. Okay. Weird. I don't remember this. This must have been like one of those 7 a.m. get the day started cartoons. I don't know.
The animation, it gives me Adult Swim vibes, like the regular show.
Yeah, I could see that. I can't see what the big thing behind you is, but it definitely, I could see this being on Hulu now and being like a mature cartoon. I like the walrus, like graduate dude on your right side. Whatever that is.
I feel like his voice should be, his voice should have been done by Nate Dogg.
I'd watch it then. You put that together, Steve. I'm in.
And also 1990, New Kids on the Block cartoon premiere. And who's your favorite new kid? Call me Donnie, call me Joey.
Call me Jesse. Dude, these motherfuckers, you know what's crazy, Steve? These dudes are out there still trying to perform.
Trying. They're
Donnie's got a back brace on, can't sing a lick. And he's out there performing with New Kids on the whole squad's out there, Donnie included.
But do bitches still show up though?
Well, I think Donnie's married to Jenny McCarth. Shout out to one of my heartthrobs as a teenager, but I'm sure, yeah, I don't think they're teenagers. I think they're 50-year-old women now that they're trying to relive their past, but I don't remember the New Kids on the Block cartoon at all. Yeah, that was a thing. I'm sure there was like 5
I bet you
years
also
of
don't
that.
remember this. Yeah, you don't remember Little Rosie. It's the starring vehicle of Roseanne Barr. She had her own cartoon on ABC. Yeah, it was Roseanne Barr's first attempt at a cartoon. Loosely based on her childhood, the series evolved around an 8-year-old Rosie and her 2 best friends, Tess and Buddy. The 3 would use their imaginations to overcome obstacles they faced, such as spelling bees, family vacations, and rules that their parents forced upon them. It lasted for 18 episodes. Little fucking Rosie.
That's like, it's just it's little Dan. Little Dan and little Rose. Dan's a big ass dude. Look at that's hilarious, dude. Hey, you're a fat comedian. Let's give you a cartoon. Hey.
And make you fat on the cartoon.
Yeah. Hey, Roseanne, you got a cartoon. It worked for Candy and fucking Life with Louie too. Fuck it.
And put some chubby ass Chucky overalls on your chubby behind.
That's hilarious. Little Rosie.
Got a cartoon.
Little Rosie. I mean, fuck it, dude. Get it. She was getting paid back in the night. They were like, we're gonna give you all the money. You want to get to little kids market? We'll make you a little fat cartoon. Fuck it.
You want 18, your show every fucking Wednesday?
18 episodes? That's fuck it. Yeah. That's enough.
They were fucking just free throwing checks out there in ABC land, man. And speaking of recycling a fucking story that won't go away, 1990, The Wizard of Oz premiered, as if we gave a damn in 1990 as kids.
Stop it. Yeah, this one too, Steve. The cartoon, sure, I didn't watch this, but even the movie, respect that it was a thing. Love the myth that a midget was killed on set and they captured it on film and it was in there. That's not true. And you know, I just was not into that shit. There was some like classic, I guess you'd call it, things that when we were kids were just hammered at us, and this was another one.
And we just never gave a fuck. Hey, let's bring it back and put it in a cartoon. Then the kids will give a fuck. No, we don't give a fuck.
Hey, hold on. What if we do high-level CG graphics, but we do the same story? How do you feel about that? What if a James Franco is the wizard? No? Fuck.
Hard pass.
Yeah, I'm with you. Unless give me some fucking acid. Give me a boatload of acid and have me ripped to the tits. And maybe I'll watch Wizard of Oz and love it. But as just like being here even high, I'm good.
We will continue not giving a fuck about the Wizard, Oz, Toto, Dorothy, or the state of Kansas. But what we do give a fuck about is Super Mario Brothers 3, the animated series, which also debuted in 1990. And this was popping in the video game world. And when we heard about it coming out on animation, oh my God. Turn the phone off.
If you think about how much Nintendo was putting into just advertising, because they made a movie called The Wizard that was literally was an advertisement for this game. They made a cartoon for the game, which, you know, I prefer the Captain Lou Albano joint. I don't think this is the same thing. Maybe it is.
It's not.
It's not. So, but still cool. I probably watched this. But then you got the game. I mean, Nintendo was fucking annihilating it. I don't know why they were putting so much effort into advertisement, but clearly it worked because we all played the shit out of that game.
Fucking crushing it.
But man, Super
And
Mario
also
Brothers 3,
19
is that one of the better, is that one of, if not the best, is it the best game ever? Like purely just
No,
of being, no? What's the best game ever, Steve?
the best game ever is the last Grand Theft Auto.
4 or 5?
5 is not out yet. 4. Oh no, five is that was the last one. Yeah, 5. My bad.
You think that's the best? I mean, it's good. That's cool. I can take that.
Super Mario Brothers 3 is up there though. It's definitely up there, but man, it takes a lot, and it's not fair because of technology. I think that is the kicker that takes it over the edge for me in Grand Theft Auto, man. Just the realism of it.
Yeah, I mean, but what you know about that warp whistle, Steve? What you know about that secret warp whistle you can get and fucking warp to the end of the game shit?
For its time, Super Mario 3 was cutting edge though.
Oh,
And it's
dude.
still that shit. I will play it today.
That's what I like about it too, because you can go back and it's like one of those things where we were hammering that so much. I'll talk about it later, but there's another game I just got that's a classic game, and it's like muscle memory. You did it so much, you can almost like instantly go back and you can do the same shit. Maybe a little bit of a buffer, but yeah, Mario Brothers 3, what's up? What's up, Nintendo? I miss you. You're no longer in my life, but I love you. You're the best.
And once again in 1990, Tom and Jerry Kids premieres on I believe syndication or no, NBC. So this was a busy Saturday morning, man, a lot of debuts. And I remember watching this because they incorporated all the classic characters, but just made them kids.
Yep.
And it's a story that never gets old. Cat and mouse.
And I mean, that happened too. Putting all the characters into kids, that was all 90s. Muppet Babies, this,
Muppet
fucking,
Babies, yeah.
oh God. Looney Tunes, Tiny Tunes,
Tiny Toons,
all
yeah.
that shit. What was that? Like, man, was there ever any originality, Steve? We're doing reboots and remakes now. They were just changing shit into kid shit back in the day. What's going on here?
Well, something that
We've
was
been
original was
had.
Gravedale High, which was starring Rick Moranis, and it was airing on NBC as well. The show was developed as an animated vehicle for Moranis, building on his star appearances in Ghostbusters and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and he would later go on to play Barney Rubble in the Flintstones.
And actually, fun fact, Steve, I don't know if you remember when Rick Moranis was assaulted on the streets of New York recently in the past few years. Did you remember that?
I do recall.
The guy who assaulted him actually stated on record that it was because they stopped and canceled this show, this cartoon, is why he punched Rick Moranis in the face.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, that's not a real fact, Steve, but I'm not going to
Oh my
let you
God,
walk. I should have just let you walk through life like that. That would have been a fun one. I wish I could have. I shouldn't have said anything, but no, that's not the case. But that's not taking anything away from the legend Rick Moranis. I'm sorry I besmirched or made light of the fact you got hit in the face.
Yeah.
But you're alive. And now that I see the mummy thing, Steve, I think I do remember a bit of this show. But I don't know.
Because I don't.
I don't, for whatever reason, the mummy thing, I'm having flashbacks, and maybe the weird chick mump thing, like nerdy thing with the bow tie next to it, but it didn't last long. That's for sure. But they gave it a shot. Apparently, if you were a celebrity in the 90s of any note, they were like, we'll give you a cartoon. Fuck it. Rick Moranis, sure. Can we get Hasselhoff? Did Hasselhoff get a cartoon?
Hasselhoff did not. No, actually, Knight Rider, I do believe they did give that a cartoon, if I'm not mistaken.
We might have figured it out, Steve. The 90s cartoon game was Who's Hot? Who's Hot? Howie Mandel, get that glove off his head. Give him a cartoon. Fuck it.
Well, somebody else that was hot around this time were the dynamic duo Kid and Play, because they got their own fucking cartoon on NBC.
This shit was fire, Steve. This couldn't have lasted that long though, but I do remember it.
I remember it because it was around the same time Hammer got his own cartoon, and it had some cameos. It actually had Salt and Pepper. I believe Tone Loc was in the cartoon. Tony Tone was in the episode.
Tony. That animation style reminds me of that Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan cartoon. I think it was called All Stars or something.
Pro Stars.
Yeah, that shit was fire too. Man, they were just firing out new fucking cartoons. If we would have only known the bounty we were getting back then, Steve.
Give me a hell yeah!
Man, also in 1990, the Finelli Boys premiered on NBC, and this wasn't animated. This aired later that evening. And I'm only bringing this up because one of the stars on the show was a young Christopher Poloni from Law and Order fame. And
the Finelli Boys.
The Finelli Boys. And they aired this on Saturday nights, I'm guessing, with Golden Girls and like 227 and shit. Nerd. There he is.
Oh my God. God damn. This guy was juiced to the gills. Was he training with fucking Drago in Russia? What the fuck? What was the what was the goddamn like storyline of the Finelli Boys? Was it just like a family of Guido brothers living with their old mom?
The Finelli Boys showed pretty strong Italian-American ethnic stereotyping. There was even an Italian flag in the program's logo. The series garnered low ratings and was canceled in February 1991 after airing 19 episodes.
Guys, the
Christopher Maloney.
Yeah, it was like Filoni, maybe. Felonious assault. Yeah, you can't have every fucking tagline of a joke be pizza balls.
That's a spicy sauce.
Mama, you're fucking up with the sauce. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Damn, what was it about Italians back then? Like the 90s was straight up a mob movie, apparently a mob sitcom from what I'm seeing here, Steve. Was that one of the episodes? Christopher Maloney is fucking mobbed up. That's why he's all juiced up. He's fucking cracking heads for the Fratellis or some shit.
They make a nice what is that shit? The Gestapo. I was about to say they make a
gazpacho.
No.
Steve, that's Spanish, Steve. Come on.
I don't That's not gelato. That's what I wanted to say. Anyway, you know who was born on that day? 1990.
Who?
Yeah, Matt Barkley, African American. He was an African American. Matt Barkley, American football player. Yeah. Good old Matt Barkley.
Who is Matt Barkley, Steve? African?
Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley? Am I supposed to know a fucking Matt Barkley? I like football, but I don't remember a Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley, he was the guy that came up in USC after butt fumble. When Mr. Sanchez got drafted away, Matt Barkley, he was the guy that took the reins for like a year or two.
Oh, he was he was the Sanchez's protege, is what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. Came up under the butt fumble, and that just I don't even know if he's still in the league.
No, fucking Sanchez isn't in the league. I don't think Matt maybe he's a coach or some shit. I hope.
Yeah, one of those clipboard carriers. But in 1991, on September 8th, Herman's Head premiered on Fox. The 4 aspects of a man's personality help him get through different situations in life. And I remember watching this along with the other shows I would faithfully watch on Fox. And it's actually 2 performers from Simpsons on this show, Hank Azaria and Yeardley Smith. And they would make different Simpsons references throughout the show, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. They referenced the Simpsons on this show. That's pretty fucking dope. I mean, it's on Fox, so I guess they are, it's not that surprising. They can do that shit, but that's cool. We definitely need to check this out because I don't remember this shit.
Yeah, man. Like different parts, like there's a person for each part of his brain, and like one of them represented intelligence, one of them represented anxiety, and one of them represented lust. And the guy that represented Lust, I always thought he looked like Artie Lang. I thought he was Artie Lang until I looked at the IMDb, and then it was another fat like comedic actor.
Herman's Head, rocking something Ohio State on the image behind you. So I'm sure you like that too. But
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
we gotta watch this. We were gonna. I think we almost did watch this, but you know,
it was a tough.
we had to go to New York, Steve.
Yeah, man, it was tough this time around. In 1991, Bucky O'Hare and Toad Wars premiered in syndication, and this only lasted, I believe, like 13 episodes, or if that. I don't know why, because the animation on this looks really cool. And you're more of a comic book guy. I don't know if this was based on a Marvel. I do believe it's based on some comic book character.
Yeah,
or some comic book story for Bucky.
I remember this cartoon though, because it's just a weird. It's weird. A green space bunny, fucking Flash Gordon character type situation.
Man,
I was really
why
getting
not?
into it. I like the shoulder pad, like with the frills and stuff. But yeah, I remember Bucky O'Hare. I don't know why. I don't know what this was, but man, if it's not based off a comic book, somebody just coming off of that with like off the top of their dome. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
It's like Star Fox. Remember that video game Star Fox? It's like that with a green bunny.
I do. Super Nintendo, man. Galactic hero Bucky O'Hare and his brave crew battle the evil Toads bent in conquering the universe. I believe it might be on YouTube, man. So I'm probably going to check that out one of these days. In 1993, Thea premieres on ABC. And Thea is a tough, no-nonsense widow raising 4 children while holding various low-paying jobs, starring, obviously, Thea Vidal. And I remember watching this. It was paired up with Roseanne. And this was the starring vehicle, well, one of the first starring vehicles for a young Brandy Norwood.
Huh.
And these images aren't catching.
We are not seeing her head, but Brandy's in there
it's
someplace.
also, yeah, she played the sister on here, and Jason Weaver, who's right behind me here, he was the voice of a young Simba in Lion King. Yeah.
Wow. Wait.
It was Jonathan Taylor Thomas for the speaking. Jason Weaver did the singing.
Oh, the singing. Okay.
The little brother on this show, I really hated his haircut, and I can't get it on any of these pictures that I got. Oh, here we go. This fucking haircut, it bothers the fuck out of
man.
me. It's like it.
It's a severe. There's not even a fade. I mean, that's just like somebody at the military doing something.
Yeah,
that's a 5-second cut, Steve. That's actually, remember I was going to Hair Cuttery. That's what happens when you go to a place called Hair Cuttery, right there.
Exactly. You get this shit. I hate it so much, that fucking haircut. He showed up on Smart Guy. He was talking shit to TJ, like, motherfucker, look in the mirror first before you fucking talk shit to TJ. He's a 10-year-old senior. Motherfucking get your fade right before you fuck with TJ. Don't talk about no Taj Mowry with that fucked up fade. And on that same day in 1993, the Joy Luck Club premiered in theaters. We don't give a fuck about it, but I just remember it being a thing. It's the life stories of 4 East Asian women and their daughters reflect and guide each other. It's one of those coming of age films.
Yeah, this was like old people shit though. This was Fried Green Tomatoes. This was Cocoon. You know, this was the movie where the mom finds out she has cancer and they reconnect type movies where you're just like, I need to see something crash.
Yeah, something explode.
Yeah. I just remember it always being like, you go rent a movie or something and you'd see it and you go right past it, Steve. Maybe somebody's renting it. Frasier's gonna rent it, not us.
More like the Joy Suck Club. Am I right? Am I right? Somebody who also wasn't watching that shit in 1993 was Houston Astros Darryl Kyle. He would throw the 3rd no-hitter of the season in the Astros 7-1 win over the New York Mets. Go on, Darryl Kyle. Darryl.
Actually, Steve, fun fact, Darryl Kyle came directly from a showing of the Joy Luck Club and through this game. So It actually gave him the power to do so.
That was his inspiration. I
Man,
watched the Joy Luck Club. I'm Kyle Derrick. Daryl Kyle.
I'm
Hold on one
I,
second.
I mean, I just saw these East Asian women just figuring out their loves and their lives, and it just inspired me. Steve walking away while I'm trying to just go through a bit. And I mean,
Sorry.
you know,
I
there's
I got a
disrespect
knock
and
on the
then there's
door.
disrespect, Steve. I'm
I,
fucking with
I,
you.
I got a knock on the door.
I got a knock on my door.
Why does my life have to suck? In 1994, New York Undercover is premiering on Fox, and the episode is titled School Ties. Manhattan police detectives J.C. Williams and Eddie Torres are assigned to a case dealing with a 17-year-old girl who accuses a high school football player of rape. Eddie has problems going to see his mother, who is in the hospital after 6 years of non-communication with each other.
And I gotta say, Steve, I know you liked it because you told me. My wife watched this shit, and I remember it being a thing. But when I was watching this episode, I wanted it. I almost there was a moment I was like, this is a shit show. This is a shit show, Steve, because I thought I knew what was gonna happen. I thought I knew who the culprit was. And
He
this
got
show
pump faked.
this shit flip-flopped me twice, Steve. I'm on my ankles are broke. If this is one-on-one, I'm on the ground, you're scoring an easy layup on me. Because I thought I'm like easy. I know who the scumbag is. Put him away.
First
And
20 minutes.
they fucked me up, Steve. And I gotta say, JC and Eddie Torres, some good cops.
Good tag team duo right there, man. And a cool fun fact about Torres, the actor Michael DeLorenzo, he was a dancer for Michael Jackson's video in Beat It. You can see him. He's one of the guys with the leather vest or the leather jacket on, doing. He's doing the whole shit.
Damn.
He's one of the gangsters, one of the young punks, one of the young thugs or whatever.
The young Gohards. Nice.
Who ends up busting into a dance routine, and he's getting it, man.
What is the black dude's real name?
Malik Yoba,
Yeah.
also from Cool Runnings.
That's what it was, dude. I was like, I know this guy from so many other things than this show. And I think he's been in some Tyler Perry movies too, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yes,
yeah,
he has.
Cool Runnings. But JC, we'll get to it. Again, I'm going in, I'm completely cold. I knew none of this. I just knew it was a thing. I wanted to hate it. And Steve, I didn't hate it. So
I mean, how could you, man? You know, they start off with "Around the Way Girl" as playing in the background by LL Cool J, and you're following these two little hottie young thotties going from station to station in New York, and they end up at a house party of sorts. And as they get to the party, people are slow dancing, and the music goes from LL Cool J to Teddy Pendergrass's "Close the Door," and one of the girls ends up leading the football team, literally, into the bedroom, and then we cue that classic theme song.
yeah, I mean, she drafts a whole football team of dudes, takes a little fucking a grandpa's cough syrup out of her purse, and goes into a room, and we don't see what happens, Steve. But I think we all know what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go, the boys. Let's run a train.
Yeah, but the theme cool. I this show reminds me of the why. I mean, obviously it's a cop show, but just like the look of it reminds me of The Wire a lot. Like the way that they filmed it and just like the grittiness of the look of the show. I'm a big Wire fan, and I feel like this has a lot of tones and stuff. I could see where getting into this show for sure. But yeah, so we get to after the cool theme song, we get back into the police precinct these guys work at, and Malik Yoba is like coming in. I think he's interrupting a meeting or something, and he's singing. He's into high school football, Steve, and specifically one team that I can't remember the name of right now. But this is one thing I've never understood as an adult that I've seen times in my life where people are just into high school athletics as adults. And I don't get that.
I don't either.
You know,
Y
let it
like,
go.
you're not going anymore. Let it go.
You're not Uncle Rico. You ain't throwing a football over the hills, you know? And he's just like, they gonna make state. I'd be like, what? Huh? We gotta go catch some
Who
rapists,
cares?
guy.
Yeah.
But I thought that was weird. And also just to call it out because it's been driving a hole in my head since I saw this on the show. For anybody that's a fan of Cheech and Chong movies, I know we're getting to a point where maybe people don't even know about them that are a certain age. There's a movie called Still Smoking, and it's just a bunch of sketches. But Cheech actually plays a character named E.T., Eddie Torres, the extra testicle, and he's an alien that has 3 balls. And that's all it is. So I just want to point that the whole time I'm hearing Eddie Torres, that's what I'm thinking of. So sorry, Steve.
Wow. That's a fun fact right there. Um,
Uh,
and so now I guess we're at the what do you call it, at the table where the cops are questioning, and the young lady's name is Araya Nunez, and she's retelling her side of the story and talking about how, she was at a party, and she met some football players from this school, and they took her to a room, and she told them stop, and basically they just overtook her.
yeah, and
And that's kind of how we're starting it off.
and I think her story is she went into the room, which we saw. She drank with these guys. We saw the booze, so that all adds up. And then she says like everybody but that one QB dude, like the QB guy, went outside the room,
Yeah.
made sure that they just stood outside the door to give them privacy, and this guy just raped the shit out of her, and that was that. And that was her story. So that's what they go with. So now the mission, and this is where I got caught off, because usually in a cop show, it's obvious guilty guy being a scumbag, and then somehow everything works out at the end and they catch that guy. But that's not well, we think that's the case, Steve. Because I'm like, put the fucking rapist away. But, there's a little bit of maybe we need to slow down a little bit here.
And she's even given the name of the school, Bulldogs. And so Torres and Williams, they're on the trail. They end up pulling up at the hair salon where the other girl works, and they get some details from her, and then they end up pulling up at the Bulldogs football practice, and they basically eyeing the players now to see what was going on. And I think it was the QB, he said, whatever happened to that girl last night, she wanted it. And just like you, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, like let's just arrest this guy. He pretty much put his foot in his mouth.
He keeps like incriminating himself. So you're just like, this guy's just like a he's just like, he's an unapologetic rapist. I was like, man, they're going hard just making this rape guy just a complete monster. And so, yeah. And also Malik Yoba, unfortunately for him and his high school football loving ass, the team that's currently being sought in the rape is the team he's a fan of. So not only he gets the news like, oh, it's this team. And he's like, oh man, they were just going to go to state. Can we just like let this rape go until after? He's trying to fucking halt it. That's not what he's doing, everybody. But it's just funny he's conflicted because he loves the high school team so much, but it's apparently just a pack of rapists, Steve.
Well, and while we're on that, man, the kid actually tells them that the girl set him up. And one of the recurring things of this show, Torres and Williams, they have this kind of cultural biased argument with each other. Like, oh, so you don't think he's guilty because he's a black quarterback with a possible future. Oh, you think she's not lying because she's Puerto Rican. And so, they butt heads in a way, in that manner over time. But, over time, they also come back and find balance. Like, hey, man, we were tripping. I was tripping. You were tripping.
Yeah,
Let's get back on it.
They have a perspective of each, from each other too, of what's going on here. But I do want to point out a couple of things that these guys didn't just like hear a rape happened and get like, they didn't start thinking maybe the chick was lying immediately. They saw a couple of things that were weird. Like when they go to the salon to ask to talk to the one other girl who was with the chick that got raped. The owner of that, he has like a bandage on his nose. He's really like salty to cops. He's like, you don't need to, he's trying to like evade her like testifying and stuff. So it's like, hey, what's going on? Why are you trying to protect these rapists?
Yeah. And we also find out that Torres' mother is sick. His sister shows up at the police station and let him know that she might have cancer, and they haven't spoken. Torres and his mom, they've been on the outs with each other for some time. He's got some past demons that he just hasn't taken care of. So that becomes a thing between Torres and the rest of his siblings. And now Torres is on the trail of young Araya, and he follows her to another football practice. And by the time she starts kissing one of the players on the football team, Williams pulls up and they both see that.
Yeah. So now even more, they're like, we don't want to say this chick was fucking trying to throw a game, but what's going on here? So there's even more suspicion. They take it to their boss and they're like, we were ready to get this kid like locked up, but now we're thinking, there might be something going on here. We're about to figure this out. And their boss, the chief, which is like this, like, she looks like Murphy Brown that worked out basically. I forget what Cooper. Yeah, Lieutenant Cooper. She's like, you got this kid. Well, that's great, but the QB for the football team is about to just sign an affidavit and I think like take a plea deal or some shit. And they're like, you can't do that. Give us a day. We're gonna figure this out because that guy, something's going on here. They agree to like hold off for a day. They see that. They keep following. I think they talk to. They talk to the grifty fucking shifty dude, Ricky or whatever, that's selling fucking shit off the back of the truck.
Selling stereos, yeah.
And he's like a local scumbag. There's a lot of these, this is like a New York thing. There's just a local guy.
He's like a Huggy Bear.
Yeah, exactly. And he's selling shit. He's got his ear to the ground. He knows what's going on. They're like, look, what's going on? Is there somebody taking bets? Because I think there's this suspicion about people like betting on this high school football game that's about to happen, which again, in and of itself is insane. Like, who's doing that?
It's a big deal. Yeah. You got Yankees, you got Knicks, you got Mets, you got Giants and Jets. But man, our money is invested in these local sports of these children who probably won't end up being shit.
So that's a thing. And with gambling, Steve, comes the fuckery. Comes the, maybe I get this guy out of the game somehow. My team wins. Bada boom, bada bing. I win this bet. So now that it's even more like, what's going on here? Is this bitch trying to fucking throw a game? Is this chick a gambling fucking genius? What's going on here? So now they have to go talk to what's her name? Annalisa or
Araya.
I'm gonna call her the victim. The victim. They gotta go talk to the victim again. And they're like, so you left out the fact that you're fucking, and also just the logic here though, I feel like is almost crazy to walk up on somebody you think is a victim and be like, so are you fucking this other QB and trying to get this game to be fucked with? Like,
well, you don't even have the facts straight, but this is New York. They're tough.
Listen,
they're tough on crime.
Listen, Toots. We know you're fucking the Puerto Rican guy on what Fountain or whatever, Fountain High. So what's going on here? You placing a couple faulty bets, a Fugazi bet or two? What's going on? And she's kind of stone-faced. You can tell something's fucked up, but she's like, nah, nope. I'm not telling you shit. She ain't talking, Steve.
I ain't talking, Kappa.
So, I mean, they're almost at a dead end. It's like, who do we strong arm here? Who do we go to? Man, I wish I could remember the exact chain of events, but somehow they were like, let's go to the QB of the other team.
The boyfriend.
Yeah, the boyfriend dude.
Yeah.
And they come up with this thing. They're like, well, we have to have like something a judge can see or hear. You know, we got to get evidence that's going to get this kid out of this rape charge, but it has to be something definitive. We just can't we got to do something weird here. So people like tabloid journalism. We're going to come at this kid and act like we're a TV show. No, wait. Do they do it to the QB or do they do it to the chick? I might be fucking this up, Steve. I'm sorry.
Well, they talk to the QB, the boyfriend, and they basically say that, hey, man, this is what's going on, because he wasn't privy to any of this stuff. That his girlfriend was in debt and she owed this hair salon owner, who was like a loan shark or some sort. And so he's like, hey, man, like, you can cooperate with us, get any possible heat off of you. And so Lieutenant Cooper, she goes incognito as a news anchor, and she's going to interview the victim, and so she can, share her plight with the world. And the guiltiness just sets in, and she's like, hey, don't record, don't turn the camera on, and then she just comes clean.
But that's good enough, though. That's good enough, because they were just recording audio too. There's like an ice cream truck a block away where they're JC and ET are in the fucking cut just listening, like, fucking this dude's gonna ruin it, because like they're trying to get the dude. And that's what I also thought was funny. They pull the cop move that I hate. It's smart, but I hate this move where they separate you and they're like, look, your fucking friend's giving you up, bud. We know everything. You're putting dick down in this chick trying to get her to throw the game. We know what's going on. So you got to tell us what's up, or you're going to go to jail, you fucking scumbag. And the QB's like, and he calls her. They even do like a fake call and shit. I mean, that shit was funny. And they get fucking the lieutenant looking like she's a fucking drag queen. She looks crazy. That's weird.
She looks a hot mess.
She looks like she just got done fucking. I'm gonna do this interview. Yeah. And basically the guy, everybody's there. The girl sort of incriminates herself a little bit, and the cops show up and arrest her. But she's not going to give up the sauce, Steve. She says something that gets her arrested, but she won't talk to anybody but E.T. She wants to talk to Eddie Torres, the extra testicle, Steve, because she's got something to tell him. And she wants to talk to him specifically. So they get back. They take this bitch has been in a fucking holding cell or one of those like interrogation rooms for like 50 hours at this point this week. She's in and out. Yeah. And they get her back in there. Eddie comes in, and we've glanced over the fact that they went to arrest the salon owner, and they get in a foot chase with him through the streets of New York, through fire escapes. This guy pulls a fucking rush hour and jumps a gap, or like jumps down off of a roof onto another roof. But E.T. has got them skills, Steve. He knows New York, and they arrest him too. And like you said, that guy, the salon owner who was the boss of the friend of the victim, is the loan shark, and he's like intimidating her, getting the chick to fuck the guy to set up the other football team so he can win a bet. And if you couldn't complicate high school athletics any more than this, I would love to know if that's possible, because this is insanity, Steve.
Bayside High ain't got shit on this.
God damn. I'm out of breath saying that, but that's basically what's going on here. So now the chick's in jail. The guy we thought was the rapist, he ain't the rapist. The chick isn't even the fucking bad guy. She said a lie, but she had some shit going on. The bad guy's a salon owner, Steve, and I would never have thought. I would never have thought it, Steve.
All with the cool sounds of great music, great hip hop / R&B. Just the musical backdrop that they added to it on top of that, man, and it had style. Torres and Williams, they stay with the drip. I mean, they were like Law and Order with fashion.
It's like 21 Jump Street style. It's like that good shit,
Modern, yeah, more modern 21 Jump Street. There we go.
And one thing
And
I gotta point out though, before we get to the end of this, at some point we get to see, obviously Eddie's got his thing with his mom. And his family has one of everything, Steve. There's a priest, there's a nurse, there's a cop, there's probably a fucking criminal in there someplace, but his family's got it all. But the unsung hero of this to me is JC, because not only is he a cop, he's saving lives. He's going home to a New York apartment that is just cool as fuck. To a woman, Steve, his wife or his girlfriend or whatever
His
that
girlfriend.
is. God damn. And she's even got good advice. So
Michael Michelle. Yeah. She's
JC,
fine.
you're killing it. And I just was saying, I was like, how much do the cops make? Because in New York City apart, if you can live in a closet and pay $10,000, this guy's living in like a penthouse with a model. I mean, I would never go to work.
Well, I'm sure certain New York cops get money under the table in various ways. I hate to put that on you, JC. I know you were just getting your flowers, but it is what it is.
Oh, I thought you were like actually like teasing something that happens in the show. I was like, oh, is JC on the fucking take?
Nah, he stayed clean, but I'm just saying. I mean, I say New York. There's side stories that they're not going to have in the episode. Maybe he's from the streets.
Maybe you get paid not to see something. You know what I'm saying, JC? Maybe you get paid maybe to look the other way.
And on that same day in 1994, the 11th MTV Video Music Awards airs from Radio City Music Hall, New York, hosted by Roseanne Barr.
Jesus. Get her off the screen for a sec. Let her have a vacation. She's on a show. She's on a cartoon. She's singing the fucking national anthem and getting garbage thrown at her. What can she do? Jesus.
Not feeling Roseanne.
The VMAs though? What the fuck? I didn't know that they were that old. I thought that was something they started doing like in the late 90s.
No, man, the 80s, bro, because there was Madonna performances and all of that shit, man. So by 94, they were able to give out lifetime achievement awards and vanguards, man. The two things that kind of stole the show, for one, Madonna shows up with David Letterman. They were announcing for award for best video of the year. She came out arm in arm with them to a wild ovation. And David Letterman says to her, watch your language, because this was just months after her profanity-laced interview with David Letterman. So that got a pop. And this was more famously known for The Beginning, which was presented by Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley Jackson at the time. And it just looks so fake and phony when they embraced and kissed.
Oh, this is when they did the public kiss. Yeah. Hey, if you're going to have a fake wife, you could do way worse than Lisa Marie Presley. I always thought she was fucking hot. But yeah, no one bought this. This is like some guy you work with. It's just like, God, I'm just swimming in pussy, you guys. It's squirting all over me. It's fabulous.
Yeah, his people called her people. And in 1995, To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar premiered in theaters, directed by Beeban Kedron, starring Wesley Snipes, Patrick Swayze, and John Leguizamo. Three drag queens travel cross country until their car breaks down, leaving them stranded in a small town. My ex-girlfriend said that this was her favorite movie of all time. And that's when I realized, oh, their target audience is retards.
Steve. That's funny. I actually got it. I had to see this movie in the theaters, Steve. I was dragged. What year was this?
1995, September 8th.
So I was 12. Yeah, that comes to, that's right. So I was in Ohio, and yeah, my mom and dad, for whatever reason, took me to a theater to see this shit. I don't know why. I don't remember wanting to do that. I do remember Swayze. There's a bit in this. Obviously, this is strange. Other than Leguizamo, who I've seen in drag and doing this most of his career, Swayze and Wesley Snipes. Blades in here, fucking with a blonde wig on. But Swayze gets groped by a dude in this, and there's like that. He's just like, "Hey, buddy, He's dressed like a chick, and that's what I remember. I remember one snippet second of this movie, Steve. But I don't. This is probably a lot of people's favorite movie, though. I'm sure there's a lot of drag queens, a lot of gay dudes that love this movie. There's a lot of fucking, hopefully, like Wazamo fans that like this movie. But I couldn't tell you a fucking thing about it, and I swear to you, I've seen it.
Hey, I mean, it left a mark on society somehow, some way. Uh,
Maybe there's like a
there you go.
contest they're going to. I think there's like a drag convention. There's something where they're on a road trip and they're like going across the country giving drag queen lessons. That's basically the story. That's it, Steve.
Teaching people how to slay. All right.
Bitch. Buddy,
Something
what
to
in the
hang your
fuck
hat
are
on.
you doing? It's a lot of like, they're in fucking Mississippi and this is like this. Like Wazamo's hitting on some hillbilly in a bar someplace. It's just a lot of that. But
We don't take kindly to people like you.
yep. They're not watching this at a MAGA rally. Let's put it like that, Steve. There's a very select audience for this movie. But it's so
Not in
wild
public,
that
they're
like how
not.
big was drag that Wesley Snipes and Patrick Swayze at the really, it's not the height of their career, but it wasn't they weren't going down. I mean, these guys were still in big ass fucking movies. Weird. Like, I don't remember other than RuPaul drag being this big in the early to mid 90s.
Well, RuPaul was a fucking megastar in the 90s.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe that's all it was. It was just like, oh, RuPaul's famous. Here's a script based on that. I don't know.
Then you got to look at John Waters. He kind of made that shit a thing too. He kind of added to that with his
Yeah.
different characters and Divine and shit. But in 1996,
Oh.
Blue's Clues premieres on Nickelodeon. The show follows an animated blue-spotted dog named Blue as she leaves a trail of clues, paw prints for the host and viewers to figure out her plans for day. Blue's Clues becomes the highest rated show for preschoolers on American commercial television. It was critical to Nickelodeon's growth. I feel like this was, it had drug subtext to it.
I feel like you can just do that. If you're on enough drugs and watch a kid's show, there's subtext there. And if there's not, you'll make it,
Maybe that's what it is.
People were into this show though. And I know they even like brought the one guy I think people thought was dead or something or
Steve.
yeah, Steve, but he came back like recently, like it was like, hey, I'm still here. It was kind of like a weird thing that they did, maybe even mid-pandemic or some shit, but we were too old. But this took over. I mean, this was like Barney or any of that shit, Every kid was fucking watching it, singing that shit.
I didn't know the dog was a she.
I didn't either. I didn't know. Why do you have to even specify it's a drawing?
Yeah, watch your pronouns, Nickelodeon.
You fucks.
Yeah, in 1997, September 8th, Ally McBeal premieres on Fox. The series star Callista Flockhart is in the title role as a lawyer working in the Boston law firm Cajun Fish with other lawyers whose lives and loves are eccentric, humorous, and dramatic. The series received critical acclaim in its early seasons, winning the Golden Globe Award for Best Television Series, Musical, or Comedy, and Emmy Award for Outstanding Comedy Series.
I don't know what to say about some of these shows. It's just like, I'm a dude. I didn't watch that shit.
I mean, same. And, it's one of those things where like, I kind of want to watch it because I remember it being like nominated for all of those shows, but I guess I'm just not there in life yet.
I don't like lawyer procedurals though. I don't like law. I don't, other than maybe like A Time to Kill, but there's like other shit going on in a movie. I don't like a show that's just about lawyers. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but.
And especially when you try to make it a comedy. How do you, it's you're a lawyer. What's so funny about you? Okay. Unless you're Dan Felding.
Yeah. Well, this probably is because I'm a fucking narrow-minded dude, but I just saw this and was like, oh, it's like Sex in the City, but she's a lawyer.
There you go.
And that might not even be the case. I honestly, other than her being a lawyer and this being a thing, I have not seen an episode. So I'm sorry, Callista Flockhart. You You were a thing, and I think you were connected. Is she married to Harrison Ford? Is that a thing?
That
Or
she is.
there you go. So you're fucking Han Solo
That's
too. That's dope.
it's probably the most famous thing she's done is fucking Han Solo. Um, but in 1998, Pokemon premiered on syndication, and good for you. You were and are a thing, Pokemon. I don't give a fuck, but I just had to notice it and mention it. But on that same day in 1998, Cannabis releases his album "Can I Bus," and it got critical acclaim for the lyrics. It got some flack for the music part, and most of it was produced by Wyclef Jean.
Not a Wyclef Jean fan, but Cannabis. Love the name. Love some songs, and he was a. It's just weird weed is weird now because when we were kids and even when we were in like college, it wasn't what it is now. The people that were like
No.
Cottonmouth Kings were like a weed thing. There was very few people just out there being like, I'm into weed, other than like Cheech and Chong and Snoop Dogg and shit.
Yeah.
I was never a huge Cannabis fan, but I knew of him. I knew of like some shit that he did.
And this is the one that had the second round knockout. At the time, he was in a beef with LL Cool J, and that's one of the things that you don't do. Before Eminem was kind of like the guy you don't want to fuck with in the battles and all that shit. LL Cool J was that guy because he ended quite a few careers. But Cannabis, he was young, he was brash, and he didn't give a fuck. And he delivered on second round knockout. And the video for second round knockout also had Mike Tyson. Fresh off of the whole ear biting scandal.
Damn. I also love that album title, Can I Bus?
Can I?
Can I bust?
Also in 1998, Hole releases their album Celebrity Skin. That's their most successful album.
She's Courtney. That's the Courtney Love band.
That's correct. Yeah.
I feel like I liked one whole song, Steve. There's probably one in there that I enjoyed. Maybe it was that. But
Oh, make me over.
Just Courtney Love. Not into it. Not gonna do it.
And also on that same day in 98, Everlast releases Whitey Ford Sings the Blues. I loved it. Matt did not.
Can I just say though, I'm sorry. First of all, Everlast, don't. I'm sorry. I was speaking out of turn. You're a badass. You're a legend. But back to that other picture of the whole thing that you were showing. Were they burning a cross?
Yeah.
I don't like that. Yeah, what are you?
No,
KKK.
I don't know. No, it's not a cross.
Okay, that's just fire.
I'm just
Okay.
like, yeah, sure, they totally were.
Yeah, I don't like
what's
that.
wrong with that?
Sure.
I bought the album.
It's a statement.
Burning crosses.
Yeah, I don't know. Everlast. It was just like it was a slower brand. It was a slower thing. We were listening to Limp Bizkit. We were listening to all like Eminem and all that aggressive shit. And there was a place for this, and I bought the fucking album. And I remember there being some good shit on there, but sorry, man. I'm just offering my own opinion, Steve, and I'm sticking strong to it, and I'm unapologetic. I don't care.
Well, it wasn't all acoustic. He had some hip hop in there. He had some straight rapping tracks on there. And I remember getting this in the Columbia House deal where you get 12 CDs for 1 cent. Yeah.
Yep. And then they keep sending you CDs, and then your credit goes to shit.
Yeah. Why do I owe $70? What the fuck?
$150.
Yeah.
I don't want Hall and Oates, the collection. I don't need this.
Yeah. Shit, I ain't order this shit.
Well,
I didn't.
yeah,
Somebody.
that was like Girls Gone Wild vids. I bought one Girls Gone Wild vid at a horny moment in my life, and for months later, I kept getting like other videos, and with those, you're like, well, I'm not gonna throw these away. I gotta check these out.
Girls Gone to Harlem.
Yeah.
Girls Gone to Cuba.
Girls Gone to Lake Havasu in a bathroom. Volume 7. Bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum bum ba bum 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 ba bum. Yeah, Columbia House though, they got me. I remember getting like a couple of CDs that because it was on a list, so you couldn't see if it was like parental advisory. And I had permission the first time to do that shit. And my mom's like, get this, do that. But I didn't stop and she forgot about it. So I got caught in that situation. See, but I did get, I think, like a Notorious B.I.G. CD or two off of that my mom probably wouldn't have bought otherwise. So shout out Columbia House.
Fucking people's credit up before it starts. And also in 98, in front of a nationwide audience watching on Fox, Mark McGwire hits his 62nd home run of the Major League Baseball season, breaking the 37-year-old record held by Roger Maris. Asterisk.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at the forearms. How did he not think he was gonna get caught though? It's like you don't get old
Everybody
and
was
get.
doing it.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, how exciting was it to watch, Steve? You can't watch a baseball game and expect a guy to hit a home run every time. It might happen, but this guy, you turn it on, it was just like ding, ding, ding. Oh,
Shit,
that guy's
any
traps are
team.
huge.
Rafael Palmeiro, Sammy Sosa, fucking even Roger Clemens' big fucking thing from Fantastic Four's asses on the mound. It's like, dude, you don't look like how you looked when you were a rookie. When you were with the Red Sox.
Barry, why is your
Yeah.
head getting so big? Why are your traps the size of your fucking thighs, dude? I'm eating a lot of horse meat. That's it. It's horse meat. Okay.
Fucking eating the horses.
Jason Giambi, you gained fucking 10 pounds of muscle in 5 days. How the fuck?
You look like a fucking erected testicle.
But shout out, see, they're putting that's my other thing though, dude. These guys were putting their bodies on the line to fucking make baseball exciting. It ain't exciting, Steve. Do something. Get these guys juiced out of their minds hitting fucking sonic boom balls out of the fucking park. I'll watch.
Get cheerleaders. Titties. Titties usually help.
I mean, that's marketing 101, Steve.
Man,
Big breastises. That's the first chapter in the marketing handbook. Big breastises. Chapter 1.
Y'all lucky Jerry Jones didn't get into the MLB business. He shut all y'all shit down.
Jesus, Jerry World Baseball. That he should. 175,000 games a year. You'd fucking be all over the place.
He'd bring titties to the baseball league. I'll tell you that. Any callbacks, honorable mentions, takeaways? We had a lot of shit to cover, and we still missed some shit.
Well, it's just the 90s. It's an honorable mention, but whoever is doing the resurgence of Ninja Turtles stuff, just in general, salute to you because they made a new video game, Steve, and it's good. It's fun. Shredder's Revenge. But then, I'm sitting around and I say, what is this? There's something called Cowabunga Collection that's available, $40, and it's every Ninja Turtles game ever. Just bought it. So I don't know who's responsible for this masterpiece. Thank you. I've been playing Turtles in Time, the arcade game, for a solid day. And I'm in my glories, Steve. So shout out to Ninja Turtles and to that game. Get it. Let's do it.
Man. So Digital Underground, they released an album the same day Everlast and Hole and Mark McGwire was hitting his fake record.
His dings?
It's called Who Got the Gravy. And Who Got the Gravy, it's very, I get funkadelic vibes, man. And, unfortunately in 98, this was a different era. Like we're already listening to different things that's not Digital Underground. They were more famous in the early 90s with the Humpty Dance and then, I Get Around and all of that stuff, man. But it's still a far out album, man, especially for us potheads. Check out Who Got the Gravy. It's available on Spotify. In 1990, Saved by the Bell, they aired the prom episode. And that's famous because Kelly can't go to the dance because she's too poor and Zach doesn't care. We could go have a dance in the picnic.
Let's go to the backyard. I mean, honestly, They had a lot of privacy, Steve. A lot of
Yeah,
privacy.
it's one of the few episodes where Zach Morris wasn't trash.
Yeah, no, that was a quintessential episode. That was Kelly at her hottest when I was a kid. Obviously everybody had a crush on Kelly Kapowski, and I mean, I would have taken her to a fucking dance in a trash can just to fucking slow dance with Kelly at that time, Steve. So I get it.
Sponsored by BFI. And our people of social media, the usuals, man. This Brandon Woodard guy, he shares on our Facebook, and we appreciate that, man. He shares our videos that we put out, and then we got Mr. Digital Comics, we got Mr. Lopez and Frankie Lopez into his house, and my guy, not once, not twice, but Hector Aponte the third, man. You guys, I give you firm handshakes and look you in the eye. How about that? That shows you how much you mean to me. Now, please like, share, subscribe, and comment, please. And give us 5 stars on those different apps, on the Spotify and the Apple Podcasts and whatnot. Check out Over the Culture on Sundays, Crushgasm with Kendra on Wednesdays, B3F Podcast with Joey and Steve, and Don't Worry, Be Movie with Amanda and Wade. Y'all be cool. This is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s.
90s.
Funky butt loving.